Is it just me, or it seems like that Andy really had some strong animosity towards Monique on this reunion? Let's talk about it. Y'all already know what time it is. I got the black V-neck on. Now, I saw this like from the first part of, honestly, the trailers. How Andy talks and how he's responding to Monique. I'm just like, I've never really seen Andy go that hard on one housewife. And the energy is not the same. Now let's talk about it. Now there's been a lot of talk, especially after this part 3 of this reunion of Real Housewives of Potomac, and the treatment of Monique coming from Andy. Andy is supposed to be the host. He's supposed to be the person on, impartial and asking the questions that the viewers want. But it seems like Andy really took his kind of disgust with Monique personally. Like, you can tell that he was really like jumping out of character and jumping from host to other things. And we have to talk about this. We have to like name it, because Andy Cohen is a gay, he's a gay white man with privilege. And we got misogynoir going on here, anti-blackness going on here, and it wouldn't be surprising to me, considering he's white and he's gay. Like, it's just, y'all got a history when it comes to like doing black women. And I am very tired of this constant teaching Andy the culture on this show, like on the reunions. I'm tired. Like, I'm very tired. Like, when the whole conversation came up about the satin hats, oh my gosh, like, what's it? Andy does very underlying shit that I have noticed that if anybody else was to say, I'd be like, I don't like the way he said that. And I think that some folks give him some type of leeway because he's a white gay man. It's the same thing with black gay men, cis black gay men, who sometimes say things that are misogynist, and folks don't catch on to it or don't probably pay attention to it too much because they think with them being femme or gay that they still cannot benefit from patriarchy. And I'm here to tell you they still do. So how Andy was asking Monique questions made me very uncomfortable. When he asked her about the whole singing thing and are you a recording artist? There are a lot of white women that have been on Real Housewives, the Real Housewives franchise, who have sung 1 or 2 songs and are not recording artists. So it's just like, what's wrong with Monique doing it? And I also think that Andy was extremely irritated and turned off when Monique made that comment about this little checks that we get, that's like for my Lazy Moms project. Andy is not used to black women on these shows not kissing his ass. Like, he is used to being the center of their universe because he has a say-so if they return. So they're gonna kiss on him, they're gonna love on him, all of that type of stuff. But Monique is not one of them folks. Monique is not one of the folks. Monique is not gravitating towards Andy. She's not very much, yes, Andy, yes. Monique is not giving me that at all. She's very like strong in her stuff, and she's not showing no emotions to what happened with Candace. Like, even though she admits that she was wrong, she's not showing no emotions. And for Andy to be like, these are 2 black women that had an altercation and all this other stuff. For a white man to be asked out here like critiquing and saying all this stuff makes me extremely uncomfortable, considering that Bravo plays a huge reason why there's always a fight and stuff going on these shows. Like, y'all pick these folks, y'all hope that they bump heads and they do all that, then y'all get on here and y'all give a message and say, oh, well, we don't condone violence. The whole damn season was y'all talked about the fight. Y'all had it all in the trailers. Y'all do it. Ain't nobody, like, we ain't stupid. I'm not stupid. Like, of course I review the show and all this other stuff, and I like the show. But for y'all to get up here and lie like y'all don't condone violence, y'all do. Y'all put these women in situations and stuff for stuff like this to occur. It's always happening. Always happening. If there was no drama, y'all wouldn't even have a show. Y'all know folks wouldn't be watching as much. So y'all do what's the name, drama. Y'all want for folks to go back and forth. So for Andy and Bravo to act like they are these folks that live outside of this, like we just putting the camera on y'all. No, y'all not. Because if y'all recognize that Candace and Monique were getting into it and that happened, y'all would have never let them record the reunion together to begin with. Then y'all try to frame it as, oh, no, we need to talk, we need to have a conversation. There's no therapist here. There's a white man who does not understand any of the culture with black women out here facilitating a conversation with two black women who got in a fight. And then you got one woman who's extremely anti-black and another woman who's partially anti-black as hell. None of y'all ass is equipped for any of these conversations. None of y'all are equipped for any of these conversations, facilitate any of them. So what work is being done? The only work that's being done is for us to sit back and watch the show and for y'all to get ad revenue from it. Like, I'm just really confused. And I think at this point, it's really been time for Andy to step down as the host of these reunions. I think it's really time, to be honest. Because as I had this conversation a couple years ago when it came to Mona Scott on Love and Hip Hop, it's hard for you to be the host and the executive producer of the franchises. Like, you have a certain power and these folks cannot be real, they cannot really talk because at the end of the day, you are responsible for their checks. So they're not gonna do stuff. They're not gonna do stuff. Mona Scott was trying to do stuff and it's just like the reunions used to be trash and bad because the way Mona used to speak to all these folks. Like, she used to like sit down, like she was very controlling because it's like, you can't go against her because you might not be on the show. And I'm seeing this with Andy. I'm seeing this how he's speaking, and I'm extremely uncomfortable with this white man continuously critiquing Monique as if she has been the only housewife that has fought on it. All the other white housewives have fought on these other shows, and y'all not giving them this much. The question you asked, Kim Zolciak, not only did she create a song that was trash, she didn't even pay the person who helped her produce the song. None of that energy was given to Kim Zolciak. And Andy, going back as we rewind, you was the same one that was giving interviews and felt like that Kim Zolciak was done wrong on Real Housewives of Atlanta. So it doesn't surprise me that you got a little bit of, you are anti-black. I mean, first of all, you're white. So that's a given automatically. But I think there is some truth to Nene Leakes talking about her treatment from Andy Cohen. However, I think what the issue is, it doesn't seem genuine coming from Nene Leakes because Nene was putting up with it for the longest and it wasn't an issue. It wasn't an issue when Nene was getting paid and she was out here making money. Now it's an issue that she's not on here. So it's like, it was good for the goose. Now that I ain't getting the money no more, I gotta call it out. And people just like, I don't know about this. I don't know about this, Nene Leakes. But I think that Nene's critiques of Andy are somewhat legitimate. I've seen several hints because y'all remember when Kim Zolciak said she felt ganged up on, she felt mistreated during the whole thing, and she was talking to Andy about the racism and stuff, and she told me it's not a real thing or it's just happened because of social media. Andy was not equipped for any type of conversation about it. He is a white gay man. He is so disconnected from black issues, so disconnected. The only thing he knows is tea and shade. And he's basically have capitalized off of all queer language, black queer language, coming from black trans folks, black trans women, ballroom. Like, Andy's making plenty. If it's any person that's making money off of all this black language, this black queer language, is Andy Cohen on this whole Real Housewives franchise. Like, everything that y'all are doing, everything. So when I'm watching him and how he's responding and how he's talking to Monique, a little thing is going off in my ear and I'm just like, I don't think Andy would talk to a white woman like he's talking to Monique. And we have several instances of that when Andy has said, oh, who's on Ready tonight? Like, making it like, who got a Glock in their pocket and all that type of stuff. Like, oh, I'm just a white gay man. I didn't mean no harm. I'm just making... Bitch, you're not the Keebler elf. Like, you just don't pop out of a pot of gold and start like, girl, Andy, come on now. You can do better than that, girl. You're not fooling me, sis. You're not fooling me. And like, watching this, if I ever have been turned off, I was extremely turned off by how Andy was talking to Monique. And I'm not sure if a lot of people have caught on to that or people were paying attention to it. but it was very much there. Like, he was on Monique heavy. Like, Monique was the only one who did something when you got Ashley sitting in here next to a white man another white man on the show, who has literally said that Michael has a history of disrespecting women on this platform. And what has happened to Ashley or Michael? Absolutely nothing. The only thing that you had to say, all right, I got some questions, some unanswered questions for Michael. Make it make sense for me. So I want people to think about it. I want people to comment and let me know how y'all feel about it, because it was something I definitely peeped. But I think part 3 of this reunion, this 90 minutes of watching it straightforward, I was definitely seeing some stuff that made me extremely uncomfortable. So let me know how y'all feel about it in the comments below, because girl, I want to sound off because we got some talking to do, because girl, I can't. And girl, with this whole thing with Monique quitting, I don't blame Monique for quitting at all. I think I'm glad that she did quit. I think that this was the best decision for her and her family. And I think Bravo's probably gonna struggle a little bit with this, because you know they sent her a contract. Everybody's coming back, but Monique is she's not accepting the contract, and she made it known she will not be returning for the next season. And I really don't blame her at all. Like, I can't disagree with her. I think that it was the perfect decision for her to make, because it would have been very, very hard for her next season. So I'm wondering, if Monique was offered a contract, did that contract include her being a friend of the show or being a housewife? Which one was it? Like, was she gonna come back front and center, or was she gonna come back on the sideline? We don't know. We don't know. But girl, Whitney said she got her contract. She got renewed. She said media takeout was a lie. She said they're not a credible source. Girl, it's gonna be a mess. Season 6. They're supposed to start filming next month. So, girl, we're gonna see. Anyway, let me know what y'all thought about all these things, and I'll talk y'all later on tonight. Bye.